this video I'm going to disassemble this very beautiful Waltham Pocket Watch. This is called a cashier's watch, probably because cashiers use them. It's, I think, an S12, size 12 pocket watch. It's a Hunter type watch, and it's in very good condition. So it's nicely polished as well, and it's got a beautiful gold-filled case. So this watch has been I bought this watch on eBay, I believe, for a very reasonable amount. Can't remember how much, but probably $80 or less. And it it has been a really good find. This tool here is used for opening case backs. I just received this tool. I got this on Amazon.com, and I'm not really used to using it. I kind of use a knife most of the time instead, but it should work if you just put your tool in like that, and then you twist upward. It should open this, which it did. So there's the watch inside. This is a 15 joule movement. It seems to be maybe gummed up because it doesn't seem to be operating properly. I'm going to have to, I think the ratchet for inside is inside underneath this plate. I don't think I've ever worked on a watch that has been sort of a 3/4 plate like this without having the ratchet out here, because normally you can just use a screwdriver to wind it down, but I'm not going to be able to do that in this case. So I'm going to have to unscrew this, and I'm going to have to drop the movement out by doing that. So let me have a look on the other side again, because I'm going to also have to take the top off here before I drop the movement out. So I've talked my way through this one here. Usually there's a groove here somewhere too to help you. I can see it. I think it's right here. And what you don't want to do is scratch the movement. So you got to use pretty steady hands. Kind of be firm and steady at the same time. So this ring comes out just like this. I also find when you're recording things, you tend to pay too much attention on the recording and not enough attention on the watch itself. So you got to watch that. Yeah, that's a joke. Watch that. So I'll just put the hands at the 12 o'clock position here. This watch is actually, the face is in very nice condition. And then I will remove the hands from the watch. I'm going to get my winders out too so I can let down the movement. Use this little piece of paper here and put it on either side of the watch here. That way you're not marring the watch. You know what? I think I did a stupid thing here. I can't do this because it is a Hunter. So what I want to do is put it at the 9 o'clock position. And you can notice that it's not completely aligned. If it were aligned properly, the hour hand and the minute hand would be on top of each other. So I'll just do this sideways so you can see it a bit, and just stick these under here and work my way in, and then pop out the hands like so. And then I tend to do the second hand. It's not as difficult I'm going to just use a screwdriver like that and work the hand out like so, and it usually just falls right like that, so the hands are resting there. And then you can usually use a piece of watchmaker's putty, which I like to do so you don't mar anything, and pick the hands up and then drop them in on top of the crystal like so. So now I've got the hands out, and I've got the crystal out, and the crystal frame is out, so I can turn this around now and open it up again like so, and then I'll just remove this, turning it sort of halfway here like so, and then the movement should fall right out as soon as I make sure this is out of the way, and then I can effectively push the movement out very carefully like so. And there's the case, and the movement is now out. So again, just so I don't mar the movement, what I need to do is, before I do anything, I'm going to just take the face off here. There's usually a couple of screws on the side here that you can loosen up like so, and I leave them in place and I just loosen them up. There's usually 3 legs on the face, and you just have to apply some pressure so you don't strip the screws, and just remove them like that. And I can also see right now that there's a small lever I think is used to disengage the winding mechanism. So I just get my screwdriver under here and see if I can move this plate out ever so carefully. There we go. And when you move it out on one side, you actually have to move it out on the opposite side so you don't bend the legs on the watch. Yeah, come on. Come on. Get out. I think I gotta loosen the screw a little more. There we go. That should come right out now. There we go. So there's the plate. The nuts removed. I just set that aside. Like so. And then usually after I've taken the plate out, I want to grab my, I can rest it there for a second. Grab my tweezers and my M1A1 tweezers here, and then put that here as well. You can put them on the crystal, or you can put it on the watch, but since it's such a light part, it's not going to be a problem. And then got to get rid of the cannon here. Let's see if I can lift this up. So squeeze down on it like so, and provide a little bit of leverage with the face and movement, and pull up. There we go. There it is. And sometimes that needs tightening and sometimes it doesn't. And there's the works here. And these are all screwed down. And then usually I take a picture of this, but since I got the video, I guess I can just use the video. Now the mainspring is wound up right now, and the watch is probably pretty gummed up. So before I do any more, I'm going to see if I can remove these screws on the side here, and these are the ones that hold the movement in the case. So just remove those quickly. And I know I probably should be holding this watch with balance or with finger cocks on, but I'll probably be washing the watch pretty thoroughly. Now what I do typically before I do any more is I examine each one of the jewels. And the jewels are, if you look up close here, see if I can get a close up here. Here we go. The jewels are here. This is here, here. That's the second hand, here, and here. And then I flip it over and I check these jewels. See, can I get this thing to focus again? There we go. And there's the center wheel, and that's, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, and then the escapement is here. So this is a jewel for the escapement, and then I can look at the balance shaft, the upper jewel and the lower jewel, and the cap. Make sure that everything is fine there too, and see if the balance will move. So this is after I take some tension off of the mainspring. And I believe this little device, this little thing right here, will remove the tension from the mainspring, but I can't turn that mainspring until I get my winder in there and make sure I don't foul it. So I'm going to try that for a second, get my winder. I'll pause for a second. Okay, now I've zoomed in a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm not sure if this will work or not, but I'm going to try. So I've got my winder in, and what I do is I push down so it's in the winding mode. Put a little tension on it, clockwise. Now if I push this little lever down, the question is, there we go, will it relieve the tension on this mainspring? And I think it is. And if I try to grab the winder again, this baby is tight as heck. Alright, I'm going to try to relieve the tension on this thing. I have the feeling it's going to go flying. I don't know why, but I think it is. Yeah, this is super tight. Alright, I need to work at this. Alright, so I've had zero success of relieving the tension on the mainspring. So I tried all kinds of different techniques and the bugger just wouldn't let go. So what I think I'm going to do is take off the balance cock, and that's this device here, and free up the balance itself, because I think it's just hitting against the banking pins. So the impulse pin I think is on the wrong side of the banking pins. I think if I take this balance cock out, I might be able to put it back in and have the watch actually tick away. So we'll see what happens here. I could be wrong, but this is an experiment that's worth doing. So there we go. Just unset it a bit. Looks like it's going to come out fairly easy. So also don't want to I want to make sure that this, I don't screw up the hairspring here, because these tweezers need to be a little bit bigger. There we go. I can take the balance out like that. And what I want to do too is just, I'll swing the arm around the pallet fork back and forth to see if it actually moves, and that means there's tension from the mainspring that's getting through the gears and all the way to the balance. So typically I'll do that. I'll use a toothpick or something that's not that intrusive. So not sure if I can zoom in or whether that matters or not, but see if I can zoom in just a little bit. I don't know. You can probably see it like that. And if I just push that pallet fork over one way, and it does snap back and forth, and there it goes. So somehow the balance might have gotten on the other side. So I might be able to relieve the mainspring by just getting this watch ticking away. And if I can do that, then I've got myself just let it unwind until it's ready to put back together again. So I'll make sure that the impulse pin is actually there, and yeah, I can see it. So what I want to do is I want to put this in. Right now I've got the balance fork on the left hand side, so I want to get the impulse pin on the same side as the fork. So I go in this way, like that, and then just spin it around like this, and I might be able to get it in position. Don't know. Oh, there we go. Look at that. It is working. Have a look at that and see if I can zoom in. There we go. And it looks like it's running. So what I can do is just oil it up, and then I'll let it run out. And if it runs out, it's going to take a little tension off that overwound mainspring. And once I've got the tension off the mainspring, I can basically disassemble this and clean it. So there we go. So what I'll do, just for now, is screw down the balance again. And then I'll, after I've tightened the balance down a little bit, I will put some oil on all the jewels, and that should get it. No, it's a little bit tight there, so there we go. I don't like tightening. You don't want to tighten the balance cock down really hard until you know that the balance shaft is perfectly lined up, and then the pivots are going into the jewels on both sides. So you tighten it down ever so lightly, and you get a bit of a swing. So I'll just show you what I'm going to do to oil it, just so you understand how this is done. It's a little trick I picked up. I just kind of relieve the tension on the mainspring, so it looks like the mainspring is actually working. And I have different consistencies of oil here, so I can use a very light oil this time, just to make sure that I get it gets into the right areas. So what I'm going to do is put some oil on the jewels here, right there. I'm going to change glasses here and go to my higher magnification. I know this is not exciting to watch, but this is, watchmaking is not supposed to be exciting to watch. It's supposed to be interesting. I'll put a little oil on these. So what this will do is free the gears up a bit. This watch is pretty old. I think it's like 1911 or something like that. It might even be 18 something. I can't remember. I put a little watch, and I missed that one. Put a little oil on the center wheel too, because there's no bearing, or there's no jeweled bearing there on the center wheel. So a little oil there. A little more oil on the escapement. And get this baby going, and then I'll flip it over. Hopefully it doesn't die on me when I flip it over, but flip it over, and you can still hear it ticking away, so I think I'm good. And I'll put a little oil on the other side, ever so slightly. And then I gotta basically let it run down. There we go. Let me see how that's working. Looks like it's running okay. It's not, doesn't have a great swing on it, but the other thing I can do, just because the escapement, little feet on the escapement, probably haven't been oiled or anything in a million years. So what I can also do to get this thing working a bit better is I've got this special type oil here, Mobius 9415, and what you do is very carefully oil. You just clean off the peg here. You very carefully put oil on the feet of the escapement as it's turning around, so the pallet fork is basically going back and forth there, and I want to make sure that this thing here has got enough oil on it. So I stop it for a second and oil every second foot. That should do for now. There we go. And it might, because of the little less friction, it might increase the amplitude, right, of the balance. So if I get the amplitude of the balance going, I can get this thing to wind down a bit faster. So just make sure that this is the version or method 2 of getting the spring wound down if this thing was so overwound that I couldn't move it at all. So there we go. So that's step 1 in getting this watch up and running. Obviously it's running, but getting it working quite well. So I'm going to sign out now, and that's it. Thank you for watching.